Cutting Through the Noise, that's an interesting title. Build communication that works. We'll be hearing from the General Director of Magenta Consulting. Many of you know him, Mr. Dumitru Slonovschi.
Two, one, zero. One more. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hello. I hope your lunch went well into your body and you don't fall asleep. It's a real honor actually to be here today and to discuss such an interesting topic as communication, as advertising, as social media. Very nice presentation we heard before, and I picked up some very interesting words like manipulation, like our colleague said that the mayor posted some pictures that I didn't like, but he really wanted them to be posted. So that's why I decided to talk today about noise. Noise in communication. And of course the presentation reflects my opinion. Maybe you do not agree, or maybe theorists in marketing do not agree, but this is my experience that I gained 10 years here in Moldova at Magenta. I like marketing and I like advertising. When I get the chance to watch TV, I pay a special attention to these advertising spots, like 15 minutes of advertising. And I do the same online. I use Facebook. I hope I'm not addicted to Facebook, but I like Facebook and I analyze the advertising that we are posting on Facebook. And I realized that we live actually in the era of noise. And the research that we are reading constantly tells us that the human brain does not evolve so fast as the social media and communication and advertising in the world. So the question usually is like, do we actually manage to grasp all the messages that we get all over? And we have a lot of messages. And it's very interesting that our body actually does everything correct. When we hear noise, we get irritated. And I don't talk about marketing noise. Generally, when you come home at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, and you get into a very noisy house, you get a bit upset. The same examples, I will bring you some more examples from the human body, that actually we know how to do everything, the human body itself, our program inside. However, we forget to apply these rules, and I refer now to marketing. So, as I told you, I decided to talk about noise. And in marketing, noise actually is a confusion caused by too many messages. Too many messages that a consumer is exposed to. And the noise, which is most said, that the noise is created not only by our competitors, but we ourselves create noise for our product. And this happens very often because we would like to expose to our consumers our product in the best possible way. And we show all the characteristics about the product, but there are too many. And as I told you, our brain gets very, very tired of that. So how many ad messages do we hear per day? How do you think? 1,000, okay? Other figures? 20. Nowadays, daily, we are exposed to about 5,000 advertisement and brand exposures. This is per man per day. And about 50 years ago, this figure reached about 1,500. So daily, involuntary, we see publicity, we see brands all over. And out of these 5,000, we have about 360 the ads itself that are exposed. So we walk on the street and we see a brand there, a brand there. We go to the metro, and in the metro we see some brands. And out of this, only 153 are noted by us. Those brands that maybe we've seen previously, and we managed to note them. Only 86 per day brands, we have some awareness about them. So maybe we heard the publicity before, maybe we already consumed these brands. And only 12 brands make actually an impression for us. So I brought these figures, maybe they are boring, but this brings you a perspective on how much information we get. And this is only to ads and brands. But then we have news, then we have politics, then we have movies, etc. So our brain just blows. At the same time, we have a very buzzy, modern concept, which is buzz. And buzz is a technique that is very much used, and you are aware of that. And the purpose of this technique is to maximize the virality of a message or a campaign, to make this campaign go into the society so people can talk about this. And it's a good technique when it's done qualitatively. Yes, we see sometimes advertising that people talk about, but they actually speak about the publicity, the advertising itself, and not about the product. So it goes viral, it might go well. However, if you choose this strategy, to use buzz as a strategy, then you have to keep your consumers engaged all the time. And this might be very difficult, and you might disappoint them at one time, because you make the brand or your communication a continuous fun for them. So you have to keep it like that. So my advice is, let's stop making noise. Because I was thinking to make an exercise now, and to ask all of you to start screaming and doing some noise, and I will try to communicate a certain message to a guy in this room. Then this example will reflect very, very simple how noise actually hinders our communication. So how do we stop making noise? First of all, as I started this speech today, I'm not telling anything new. And in our 10 years of experience here in Moldova, when we start talking to our clients, they usually say, yes, we know about this. Yes, we've heard about this model. Yes, we know that we have plan. Still, very few actually do this. Let's go to 50s, when the whole concept of marketing started. I know that a lot of you still watch the TV show Mad Men, and I hope you do, because I like it very much, and it shows the 50s, how the whole marketing and publicity started. So a strong brand is built on consistency. So the brand is unique. About 5 or 10 years, in previous time, before social media started, it took about 5 or 10 years to build a strong brand. And we have those brands still existing. However, with this huge information that we have, and with social media and with other offline tools, now building a brand is easier to do, even faster. However, we have to emphasize on benefits. Because what we are missing more and more is actually the benefit of the product. We do invest a lot in brand image, but less and less to the characteristics of the product. And finally, the brand shall be consistent with its brand attributes. So if you, and by attribute you mean you can choose 3 attributes that you like, or words that you like, that your brand would be associated with. So in your communication, in your marketing communication, you should stick to these attributes. You don't diversify them too much. You should really communicate three attributes that you would like to be remembered with your brand. Stop being too creative. And I know that those of you who are from publicity companies or do creative job may not understand this correct. I do like creativity. And usually I bring a very good example. We had a campaign, I guess, last year, which I like very much. It's called the Sugar Mosh Zaharia. It was a very, very good video that was promoted. It was very touchy, but then nothing actually followed. Maybe it's gonna follow, but myself as a consumer, I didn't see anything. Yes, this advertising touched my memories from childhood, but anyway, nothing came after that. I didn't understand actually why I shall buy sugar from Polish sugar compared to Suzuki, for instance. So creativity is good, but only if advantages follow with this creativity. Too often the campaign remains just viral. And I like viral campaigns, and I like that people talk about viral campaigns, but actually these campaigns are just, are nice. And it seems that sometimes publicity agencies, they have a competition among them who would be more creative, and somehow, often, not all the time, it is they forget about the consumer, that the consumer doesn't actually get the competitive advantage of the product. And my personal belief and question is, do actually consumers need the feelings that we show all the time in publicity? Do we actually have to talk about family that we would like to create all the time, that we transmit to our consumers? Do they actually need this family of the brand? Yes, I love this picture, and as Elena said, there are more kitties in Facebook than in real time. And we see all in the mornings, we see kitties, we see coffee, we see sun on the beach, etc. But do we actually need them? Because myself, and I know that a lot of people, they get irritated when they see them. And even worse, they might be associated with a brand. So as I say, everyday messages on social media may actually kill your brand if you communicate just like that, just to be present, just to be heard. Consumers get bored and confused because they don't understand what you are promoting and what are the benefits of your product actually. And as I said, don't destroy social media as an instrument, because if you're going to spoil your campaign, for instance, on Facebook, it's going to be very hard to use Facebook again. And cutting through, actually, to give you something useful that I encourage you to actually do. You know all these 5 steps, of course, but try to do them with one product from your company. Get to know your customer. Get to know your customer, and of course I believe and I worship research because I'm doing this every day. But try to use free research and try to use social media and especially Facebook as research data. And today I found out that they have something like research.facebook.com, where you can see a lot of econometric, statistical and sociological analysis of Facebook users. You can do split tests, you can see how consumers react on your publicity on Facebook. So it's a lot of resources that we are missing because we are very eager to go into the campaign and not prepare for the campaign. Target for your consumers, and as I said, our body actually do targeting every day. We choose our girlfriends, we choose our wives, so we do some targeting and we do analyze some advantages of our friends. So even water and bread are not for everyone. Even general products can be targeted for certain consumers. And develop your USP. And often, at least in our country, USP, unique selling proposition, is considered to be the slogan of a company, and it is not. The USP is your uniqueness that you develop. And when you develop this uniqueness that you are going to communicate, try to think that it is unique and is attributed only to your brand. And it's not possible to be adapted to banks, to all kinds of businesses, or even worse, to your competitors. Build your message, and the message shall represent the USP, actually, and transmit the same message in all channels. Because sometimes we think that we transmit an idea through different messages, and we think that consumer actually understands our creativity, but the consumer don't want to spend time and effort because of the noise, of course. Define your audience, step number 3. And here, by audience, it is clear that we have existing consumers, we have potential consumers, and I always say, don't forget about internal audiences, because our employees, our colleagues, they are our brand ambassadors. And it very often happens that a company launches a product, launches a campaign, but employees in the shop, they don't know how to actually promote this campaign. They don't even deliver the handouts, etc. So don't forget about internal audiences. Don't forget about your competitors. Don't be afraid to talk to your competitors through different means, and of course, nicely. And most important, try to put all these audiences on paper. I know that it's very simple to have them in mind, but try actually to put them on paper and prioritize. And it's a very difficult exercise, because you'll get maybe 20 or 30 of audiences that you would like to communicate with. The 4th step is to determine different instruments for each audience that we have identified before. The same piece of paper, try to identify how these consumers or different audiences, they communicate, how they would like to get the message. And then you will see that it's not only the Facebook that exists. You can actually send a physical letter, which does not exist anymore so often. You can actually visit the guy or apply other techniques. And number 5 is actually build the plan itself. And you all know about Gantt, and you all know about KPIs. But actually try to put all offline and online techniques and messages to put in a huge Gantt for 1 year. And try for each technique or source of communication, develop a budget, develop a responsible person, and develop the KPI, key performance indicator, or what actually you expect out of this communication. It sounds very simple, but I will tell you myself, I'm doing it for my clients, and I'm doing it for myself, for Magenta. It's really, really difficult. But what is more difficult is to implement this plan, because it goes 1 month, and then you just forget about this because you have other stuff to do. So in communication, in marketing, in advertising, consistency is most important. And that's how I think you will actually cut through the noise. Thank you.
Okay, Dumitru, let's say that everyone in this audience stops with the noise. We all agree that we stop making noise, and we are searching for alternative ways to reach our audiences. But someone who runs a business and who's trying to make money and pay their employees might ask you, okay, I'm going to stop making noise, and you're going to stop, and he's going to stop, but everyone else is not going to stop. So I'm going to be losing money, and I'm going to be losing my audience. And in this economy, that's I think that's a very good point. What would you say to that?
I think you are right, and certainly what I'm saying cannot be extrapolated to everything. But I will repeat myself that consumers, they don't care about your product. Consumers don't care about you. Consumers are hedonists, and they want fun. So from the research that I'm doing daily, consumers are sick of useless communication from brand perspective. So believe me, if you'll start doing correct communication, less noisy, more to the product and to the competitive advantage, I think consumers actually will love you more. And I think actually that your campaigns or publicity companies that will use smarter techniques, they will be much richer because their clients will be satisfied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.